I got my period when I was 12. My mother said to me, "I only have pads in the house. When you were being born, I tore very badly, and ever since then, I haven't been able to use tampons." Tampons, birth, vaginas, too much information. My mother was pretty honest and straightforward with me about certain things. As a kid, I knew that she loved McDonald's fries, but they gave her heartburn. I knew her ears itched when she had allergies. And I knew that the rich white ladies in our Connecticut town only spoke to us when they wanted something. And I knew from a young age that my mother had postpartum depression. She once told me that she remembered staring out the window at the snow for hours and not realizing that time had gone by. She just stared out the window at the falling snow. I'm an only child. When I was young and I asked my mom why I didn't have siblings, she told me that she and my dad wanted to have one child and do the best that they could for that one child. When I was older, she told me that it was because she was depressed after I was born and couldn't go through that again. And I'm not sure why she told me this. Of all the things that she was honest about, this one sat differently with me. This depression of hers was tied to my arrival. When I think back on my parenting moments, I feel good about the honest ones. I'm always willing to talk to my kids about things like racism, addiction, governmental corruption, and the ways that babies are made. I tell my kids when I'm sad or scared or confused. I tell my kids that I'm not perfect. I'm always learning how to be a mom, and sometimes I make mistakes. I yell. I check out. I forget that I'm big and my kids are very, very small. And then I tell them that I'm sorry and that sometimes being a mom is very hard and that I mess up, but I love them and I will always do my best. I'm honest so that they will know me and trust me, and so that they will be honest with me. But what pieces of my motherhood story do I tell, and which pieces are better left unsaid? When should I not tell them the whole story? I had a great job before my daughter was born, one of those dreamy jobs that you work your whole life to get. But I had that work-life vertigo, and I never felt like I was good enough at work or good enough at home. And when she was born, I quit. When they've asked me about previous jobs, I've told my kids that I left a job to be home so that I could take care of them. But they don't know how much I hated being home with them. They don't know that I missed that job. They don't know that to this day, I think about that decision to quit and don't think that it was the right one. But will I ever tell them the truth about that? I sit in front of a light box every morning for 10 minutes, and sometimes my kids ask me, "Mama, why do you sit in front of a light?" And I tell them that it helps me wake up. But I haven't told them that I got the light box shortly before my daughter's first birthday as a last-ditch effort to avoid committing myself. My postpartum anxiety and OCD were spiraling out of control, and I couldn't tolerate any of the medications I tried, so my psychiatrist suggested light therapy. That's the story behind the light box, kids, and that story feels too scary to tell you right now. So what is the narrative that we tell our children? Will I tell my kids about the endless afternoons when I watched the clock and I waited for bedtime? Yeah, probably. Will I tell them about when I yelled so loudly that I was hoarse? I think so. But will I also tell them about when my OCD was so bad that I counted my steps to the kitchen not once, not twice, but 5 times? Will I tell them that every day before their father left for work, it took everything I had not to beg him to not leave me alone with them? Will I tell them about how I became another child to my husband and I worried that he would leave me? Will I tell them that I couldn't stop looking at knives because I couldn't stop thinking about cutting myself? My kids have asked if I'll have another baby, and I've said no. When they ask why, I say, because our family is complete and we love you. I haven't said, because I'm not hormonally cut out for it and I think having another baby would kill me. Because I don't think they want to know that about their mother. Or do they? I don't know. I think about my mother staring out at the falling snow that day, and I think about how lonely and isolated she must have been as an immigrant without a lifetime of friends in her community. By the time my daughter was born, I had a network of friends and lots of community support, the kind any new mom could wish for. But I felt unknowable and unreachable, like I was suspended in midair and engulfed and snared and trapped inside my own web of anxious thoughts, with 2 babies, no less. I wonder if this is what my mother felt. And what about my daughter? What if she goes through this one day and asks me, why didn't you tell me what you went through? Why weren't you honest with me? But how can you tell your kids that being a mother was the very thing that tore you apart? How can you tell your children that you love them with every fiber of your being and cannot imagine your life without them, but also that you weren't sure if you wanted to live? I don't know. But I don't blame you, my sweet babies. And I hope you won't blame me. I don't blame you, Mom. I think I've stopped blaming myself, too. It's not your fault. It's not mine. And I will always try my best and be as honest as I can be.